we'll just take a look at the remaining phases for a brief period of time, and then we'll also look at the tools that we are going to use for every phase and the people involved in all these phases. So designing, say, what do you mean by project startup planning and requirements gathering? We have already covered. What do you mean by designing a project? It starts with architectural design. When I say architectural design, are you going to have a centralized architecture, a client-server architecture? Is it a 3-tier client-server architecture? Or are you going to have a model view controller architecture? What kind of architecture you are going to prefer for your project? So that kind of a design comes in here. Not only that, say you are designing your system, there will be other systems internally in the organization. For instance, attendance management should integrate with student management, hostel management, and other systems. So this thing becomes your architectural design. It's not drawing a box diagram. How my tool will have an interface with the another system. Is it going to FTP a file to that system, or is it going to push messages using publisher subscriber model? There is an architecture established for all these things. So we are going to discuss and finalize this architectural design. Next type of design is high-level program design. What is high-level program design? Identify all the classes, objects, how these objects communicate, what are the member functions, what are the access specifiers, what kind of inheritance exists, or what interfaces you will have, what virtual functions you will have. You have to identify everything, design the system. For that, you will be extensively using Unified Modeling Language, UML, and you will be designing the system. Since we are focused on object-oriented systems, we will use UML. Data design, entirely we are going to use entity relationship modeling, ER modeling. Of course, you have NoSQL databases too, but we will focus on entity relationship modeling because that's where we all have the training on. Again, it is not just related to one entity relationship modeling. It's also about distributed databases. Have you heard of this term? Distributed databases. What do you mean by distributed database? If you have a distributed database, you are going to have several nodes or several servers running in many locations. And your data will be distributed to all these servers. Say you are talking about a banking system. It's going to have millions of customers and people applying for loans. And you have branches across the globe. So your server will not be just one server in one location. It will be a distributed system. So when you talk about data design, you should also talk about whether your system is going to be a distributed database or a single server system. UI designing, it's basically what should be your user interface. Whether it's going to be a joystick or a virtual reality device or it's going to be augmented reality. What is your interface to your application? That is the next thing. And what will you do for this design phase? You'll be generating class diagrams, object diagrams, data flow diagrams, structure charts, flow charts, ER models. You'll come out with a lot of models here. And you'll also be writing algorithms for every class and function you have identified. Finally, you will conduct quality reviews and manage versions. I say manage versions. Now you know what is versioning, right? Every time you do something, there is always a chance for it to change. So you should manage the versions. We'll use a tool for managing the versions. Reviews also is part of every phase. After requirements gathering, you did reviews. After designing, you will have reviews. So reviews also is part of every phase. Implementation, that is the phase you start coding. When you join the organization, they will be giving you the design documents. Take this UML models, take this structure charts, or take this data flows, take the ER models and start implementing the system. So you may get some part of that algorithm or model which you are going to convert that to code. You may not even know when this project started, who started it, for what it started. You just get this model and then you'll start coding. So that's how they manage things. And conduct quality reviews. Code reviews will be there. What do you mean by code reviews? For 1 week I write code. My project manager and team leader will call you. Please come, take your code. I know I am just writing it, but still they will not wait for you to complete. They will ask you to bring your code, read it line by line, and then they will review it. Whether this code is really good enough to go to the next stage. So such kind of review will happen maybe weekly. So that is Code reviews will happen, walkthroughs and inspections will happen, and again code will also will manage versions. Even the code you are writing will be into a tool and will manage versions for that. Testing. How do you test a product? You have written the code. How you normally test it? You give some test cases like unit testing. Say you have 10 members in the team. Let me just explain this. You have 10 members in the team. This is team member 1, team member 2, team member 3, and team member 4. Like that you have many team members. Each member is writing some code, right? You are writing some code, you are writing some code, you are writing some code, and he is writing some code. What is unit testing? This team member will test his code by giving some sample inputs and expected output. So if you are writing an addition program, what you are going to test? Give some 2 numbers, check whether you are getting the correct result out. Give some 2 strings and check whether you are getting the proper error message out. Just enter spaces and check whether the system handles it fine. Is it going to add integer numbers or float numbers or double? What kind of numbers is going to add? What kind of precision you are going to get for your system? So all these things will be tested by the team members, that is unit testing. The next step is integration testing. I should integrate the code of all the members together, and I will give inputs to check whether it is working as a system. Maybe your friend wrote for subtraction, another friend wrote for division, another friend wrote for some other, say finding square root. So if I give 2 numbers, whether as a system, is it performing well? That is integration testing. Again, we'll use a lot of tools and test cases here for integration testing. System testing. System testing is, there will be one test server. Test server in the sense, it's an exact replica of your production server. There will be 2 things, test server and production server. What is this production server? This server will be for real people to use. See, if your VTOP is right now currently running, right, that will be running on the production server. So all the real users will be using this server. Right now, if you contact VTOP, you enter the URL, it will be going to the production server. So that's for the live data. Whereas when I talk about the test server, it is just a replica of the production server, wherein we will be testing the system. So here you are going to push all your entire modules that you have coded will be pushed to the test system, test region. And we will be again testing it as one full system before moving it to the live server. So that is another stage of testing. Unit testing and integration testing will be performed by programmers themselves, whereas system testing will be performed by third-party testers, maybe from other organizations or from your own organization. They are independent testers, not related towards, they have not done the code, they will be just testing your system. System testing will be done by third-party system testers. Please understand that. Regression testing is another kind of testing. Say while I am testing, I am getting some bugs. Again, that will be going to the programmer. He will fix it. Again, there will be a test happening. So that is called regression testing. Acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is, okay, programmer tested it, again integrated and tested it, system tested by third-party testers, no issues, and all regression testing is also done. Finally, we will call some of the bank managers, the clients. They will come and test your system in this region. Whether they are really happy with it, whether we'll just test it with real bank people. So once when everything is done, they will sign this acceptance. Okay, now we are fine. You can move it to the live region. Once then the system will be released. It will be the production system that will be moved to the production servers. From then on, people will start using it. So your system should cross through many levels of testing. This is only 4 or 5. They will also have load testing, stress testing. So many different types of testing is there before your system goes to your production. See, only then you can have a system without issues, or else you will end up with badly created systems. Testing is a very important area in engineering. Deployment, as I told you, what is deployment? Go live, that is push your data to the production server. So go live in the sense, on that day you will say everyone can start using my system. So everybody will start using, and what you will get, provide on-call support. That is, any issues come up, the programmers will be awake day and night. Anything they will fix the system such that the people can use it. Of course, with all these things too, you'll get some issues. So on-call support. Knowledge transitioning to the maintenance team. As a developer, I have finished developing, testing, moving it to the production server. From now on, some other team will be maintaining it. So I'll have a maintenance team knowledge transition. So I will say what this project is all about, what my code is all about, requirements, design, everything I will give. Transitioning will happen to another team. That team can be from your company for another, some third party company, maybe across the globe. So that is deployment. What is maintenance? Maintenance talks about different types of maintenance here: corrective, adaptive, and preventive maintenance. Corrective is whenever some bugs come in, somebody is not able to make a payment, he will report the bug. The programmer should fix it. Again, he should push that changes to the production server. That is corrective. What is adaptive? I add a new module to the system. Earlier, biometric was not part of our entire VTOP system. We moved an entire change to the system. So that is adaptive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is to avoid any issues in the future, we'll do some preventive maintenance. Maybe moving it from a single server to a distributed database or performance tuning of our SQL queries. All these things come under preventive maintenance so that our system performs well in the future. So this is the thing that we have learned. When you consider a software project, how this team delivers the project, they follow all these activities in phases. First you initiate, plan. For planning, we are using a tool. Okay, now I have to talk to you about the important thing. What tools we are going to use here? And who are the people who are doing all these tasks? Are you clear with what are the phases we are having inside the software development process? Project initiation, who will do this? Mostly project managers will be doing this. They are experienced people. They will do feasibility study, and the output of this will be a feasibility report. They will be delivering a report. Feasibility report it will have some high-level view of what will be the budget that you will incur for this project. What will be the overall deadline you can give for this project? Planning, project planning. As I told you, I have showed you how to plan for a project using the tool, right? You will find all the team members, allocate them, create the team structure, communication structure. You will have the things planned, and then you will create tasks for every member. You give deadlines and you assign it to them. That is planning. Schedule your entire project, how things are going to happen. So here you will use some project management tools like Bittrex 24, or mostly the companies will develop their own project management tools. And entire building, everything will happen using the tools. So Bittrex 24 is one of the project management tools that we have seen a demo. Requirements gathering. Yeah, you have some tools for requirements gathering, but normally they will use a Word doc or an Excel sheet. But that's creating a problem now. We also have some requirements management tools by IBM and other firms. But since mostly these tools are very costly, they just use docs or Excel sheets. And what will be the output of your requirement stage? It will be a requirement specification document. Complete requirements for your project. Design, we'll use rational rows by IBM. This is not available in the market right now, rational rows. We also have open source tools like Argo UML for UML modeling. We can use YAD. I hope you remember this YAD for all your charts, flow charts and things like that, structure charts. We can also use Visio, VISIO, Microsoft's Visio for all kinds of ER modeling and things like that. So we'll be using a lot of design tools in our projects to speed up the process. Say the design tools come with this advantage. If you design the model and when you just click a button, it will generate the code for you. That is forward engineering. So if I design the model, class diagram, and then when I click the button in the tool, it will generate the code steps for me, auto generation of code. And that is also supported in some of the tools. For implementation, what we'll use is, it depends on whether it's Eclipse or what kind of databases and IDEs you're going to use. It depends purely on the development technology. So you'll use some IDEs here. Of course, you'll use some configuration management tools to version things out there. Testing, we have some testing tools for automated testing. It will run these scripts and test your tool. And you will also do some manual testing wherein you will manually enter the things and test. So testing, for performance testing, load testing, we'll have some proprietary tools which will test your performance of your product that you're developing. Deployment, it's all servers that you're going to install, whether it's going to go on the cloud or you're going to have your own infrastructure deployed in your firm. That's up to you. So for testing, they'll use a tool for writing all the test cases, reporting the bugs to the things. There'll be a tool. Automatically, they'll report the bugs. They'll come to the programmers. They'll fix it, and then that solution will go to the tester. Deployment and maintenance. Maintenance also, we have bug management tools. Say, I don't know, we don't have bug management tools here, I guess. For instance, you're using the system, you get any issues, you'll go to the tool, enter your issue, and then press enter. The engineer will directly get that issue and he'll start working on it. So for every phase, you have a lot of tools that you're going to use. And talking about the people, project startup will be by project managers. Planning again will be by project managers and team leaders. Requirements gathering. Requirements gathering, we call such people as business analysts. So what is the role of business analyst? Is to meet the client, have a meeting, come out with the requirements. So it's continuous customer interaction, that is part. But you have to be very strong. Technically, you have to be strong. Domain-wise also you have to be strong. Designers are highly technical people, I'll tell you. So anyone who has got an experience of about 10 years as a programmer, who has implemented many projects, mostly will be designers. They'll be your team leaders, or you can call them as architects or designers for a project. So they'll be designing. Implementation will be carried out by programmers who are entry level mostly. So they'll be carrying out the coding task and testing, unit testing. Testing, there is a separate unit called testing, right? That will be performed by testers. The role itself is testers. Deployment will be carried out by this team. The programmers, team leaders, project manager, everybody will be part of deployment. Maintenance, again, will have programmers and team leaders. So this entire thing makes up the software development process inside an organization. Again, I want to show you one more slide. That is, say this is your IT firm. An IT firm, says IT service sector firm will do projects for many clients. For instance, you can see Ford, Bank of America, Walmart, AXA. So one is an insurance, one is a banking sector, one is a manufacturing, one is an automobile sector. So an IT firm will deliver products to many such firms. So for each firm, what it does is it creates a project. And for Ford itself, we can have many projects running. Say you consider an IT firm like Deloitte or McKinsey or TCS or Wipro, they will be delivering many projects for every organization. For Ford, you can have 10 projects going on parallelly. Like that, you have many clients. Bank of America is one different account, Walmart is another different account, AXA is another different account. Assuming that we have one project for every client, the process remains the same across the projects. So what is the process? Initiation, planning, requirements gathering, design, implementation, testing, deployment, maintenance. So the process remains the same across different projects for many different clients. Again, organization-wise standards are established. As an IT firm, Deloitte, I may be supplying my products to different clients, but then the standards will be the same for different projects. For instance, if I'm going to come out with a design specification, in all my design specifications, I'll have the Deloitte logo and then I'll have the same standard template, which all the project team members should follow across the different projects.